topic of this video is adding things up. So for example, if one took a large trip from some initial location to some final location, the total distance that you traveled could be written as delta x. In other words, the change in your position measured, for example, in meters along the number line. In other words, your final position minus your initial position. But there's another way to think about a journey, to break it up into little steps along the motion from the start to the end. Each of those little steps we typically write with a slightly different symbol, a dx instead of a delta. A delta means a big change, what's sometimes called a finite change, and a d means, roughly speaking, a small change, what sometimes is called an infinitesimal change. But the idea is that every one of the small steps added together and accumulated ultimately gives you the big step. So if we take the little small steps and we add them up, and the symbol for adding up is sort of this S-shaped curve out in front. The name for that is integrating. If we add up all the little steps, dx, from some starting position to some ending position, what we get is the big change in x. In other words, the difference between the initial position and the final position. Where did you end up relative to where you started? One more time, adding up all the small steps, the symbol for that is add up the small steps from some starting location to some ending location. The sum of all the small steps is the finite step, the large step, delta x, which is the place where you finished relative to the place where you started. The sum of all the small steps is the big step. The name for this process is integration. Integration means bringing all the pieces together. If you integrate all the small pieces, you get the big piece. The sum of all the small pieces together is the big piece, and that process is called integration.